Today I'm going to teach you how to make 3 different creamy hair conditioners using BTMS 25. These simple formulations build on one another so you can get to know BTMS 25 and start to understand how to customize and create your very own conditioner formulations. The first one requires just 3 ingredients, the second one adds 2 more ingredients, and the third one adds 2 more. These are all really easy to make, and if you haven't already fallen in love with BTMS 25, I think you will. The partner blog post for this project contains a lot more information about the ingredients and the formulation, so please make sure you are reading that as well as watching the video, which is more about technique and really showing you the formulations. So as always, that's linked in the description box below. What is hair conditioner? Making wise, a creamy emulsified hair conditioner has a lot in common with just a simple lotion. There's an oil phase and a water phase that are brought together with an emulsifier. I'd say the biggest difference between a hair conditioner and your average lotion is that a hair conditioner will be cationic or positively charged, while a lotion doesn't have to be, though it can be because it is lovely. Our hair and skin are negatively charged, and since opposites attract, formulations that are cationic are really quite special. That attraction means that cationic products are literally like, they're attracted to our skin. And so compared to an equivalent anionic or non-ionic formulation, cationic formulations stay on the skin a lot longer, resisting wear and rinse off. The wash-off resistant coating that conditioning ingredients deposits on our skin and hair is very, very, very thin, but it's also very noticeable. I find it's hard to describe, but think about your hair when you've just washed it, and then you put conditioner in, and how the feel of your hair really changes, how it gets a lot more like slippery, and it feels a lot more sort of silky and substantial, and it's a lot easier to comb through. All of that loveliness is cationic goodness in action. Don't worry about your conditioning ingredients creating an impermeable, semi-permanent film on your hair. That will come off just fine with some shampooing, but it means that when you apply the conditioner in the shower and then rinse most of it out, the conditioning benefits remain. They don't just wash away immediately. You can make a sort of hair conditioner using an emulsifier that isn't cationic, and I have done this in the past, and it does definitely sort of add some moisture to the hair, but you don't get that conditioning loveliness. So it kind of works, but it's really not anywhere near as amazing. In these formulations, our cationic ingredient is BTMS 25. BTMS 25 is made of 25% dihydroammonium methyl sulfate, and this ingredient is the conditioning ingredient and our emulsifier, and then 75% cetyl alcohol, which thickens products and adds emollients and stabilizes our emulsions. If you'd like to learn more about BTMS 25, please make sure you look it up in the Humblebee and Me encyclopedia over at humblebeeandme.com. How are we going to make these hair conditioners? The first thing I recommend doing is sending your BTMS 25 on a quick trip through your DIY only coffee grinder. I find cationic emulsifiers are a pain in the backside to melt, and so powdering the BTMS 25 really speeds that along. Each of our 3 formulations will have a heated water phase, a heated oil phase, and a cool down phase. To keep things simple, I have slightly modified the procedure, which you'll really only notice for formulation 3, to keep the heated water phase as just water. So for each formulation, you're just going to need hot distilled water. I just kept a beaker with a good amount of water on my hot plate just to keep it warm. We want it nice and steaming hot, almost boiling, but not quite. We'll melt our oil phase in a second heat-resistant glass measuring cup or beaker. I'm using my hot plate for my heat source in this formulation, but you could use the microwave, an oven set to about 200 degrees Fahrenheit or about 95 degrees Celsius, or the top of a glass top stove on low if you are using beakers. Take care to keep those temperatures low so you don't burn anything. It's definitely better to go slowly than to have to chuck out scorched hair conditioner. You can try to use a water bath if you like. I find that BTMS 25 is quite annoying to try to melt in a water bath, but you might have better luck with that if you live at a lower elevation than I do. Once the oil phase is melted, we will weigh out just enough of that hot water, pour the hot water into the oil phase, blend for a wee while, switch to hand stirring, and then once it's cool, add the cool down phase, and that is it. I made all 3 of these hair conditioners just right in a row, just one after another, and if you have all the ingredients, I really recommend doing that too so that you can compare 1, 2, 3 right away. Let's start with formulation number 1, which needs just 3 ingredients. In this formulation, BTMS 25 is unquestionably our star ingredient. It is our emulsifier, it is our emollient, it's our conditioning ingredient, it is our thickener and our stabilizer. It is the star of the formulation. We are basically just diluting it in some water, preserving it, and voila. some lovely, creamy, lightweight hair conditioner. It really is super, super simple. Because I've left room to add richness as we go on, this one is really quite light, and so it actually works very well as a leave-in hair conditioner for me. If you'd like to learn more about how to make it a bit richer and more conditioning, please refer to that partner blog post. Start by weighing 4 grams of BTMS 25 into a heat-resistant glass measuring cup or beaker that you can fit your immersion blender into, and then get that BTMS 25 melting. Once the BTMS 25 is melted, weigh 95.5 grams of nearly boiling hot distilled water into a third beaker, and then pour that water into the melted BTMS 25. Give that a quick stir, and then using your immersion blender, blend for 30 to 45 seconds before switching to hand stirring. This first formulation will thicken up quite quickly. Once the emulsion has cooled down, weigh in 0.5 grams of liquid Germall Plus, stir, and you are done. Package the conditioner in some sort of container that won't allow a bunch of water to get into it while you're using it in the shower, so like a pump top or a squeeze something, and that's it. What do you do if you only have BTMS 50? Can you use that instead? Yes, you can use BTMS 50 instead, and in 2 different ways. If you want to approximate using BTMS 25, I would use half the amount of BTMS 50, so 2 grams for each of these formulations, and then replace that missing half, another 2 grams, with some cetyl alcohol. BTMS 50 contains twice as much bihydramonium methyl sulfate as BTMS 25 does, and so if you use half the amount, you will get the same conditioning concentration. Alternatively, you could make a 1-to-1 swap if you would like all of these formulations to be a bit more conditioning. They'll also be slightly thinner because BTMS 50 doesn't contain as much thickener as BTMS 25 does. What about natural alternatives to BTMS 25? Unfortunately, I don't have any that I can really recommend. I have only tried 2 natural conditioning emulsifying waxes. Very Soft EQ it's okay. I would say it feels roughly as conditioning as emulsifying wax NF. And then I've also tried Emulsense HC, which I really didn't like. It made my hair feel just disgusting. So yeah, unfortunately, I do not have a great natural conditioning emulsifying wax that I can recommend to you at this time. If you do decide to go the natural route, make sure you are researching your new ingredients so that you know what it needs so that you can make it happy. Our second formulation adds 2 ingredients to the conditioner. We're taking advantage of BTMS 25's emulsifying abilities and adding 8% oil to boost the richness, viscosity, and emollients of the hair conditioner. You'll notice that this formulation is quite a lot thicker than the first one, and that is due to the added oil increasing the size of the inner phase, the oil phase of the emulsion. With 4% BTMS 25 and 8% oil, that's a 2-to-1 ratio, you can definitely emulsify more oils using 4% BTMS 25. You could go up to around 19%, but I've used more BTMS 25 than strictly necessary because I want more conditioning goodness. From a formulation success point of view, you could really choose any oil or butter, and BTMS 25 is also good at emulsifying silicone, so if you wanted to include a non-volatile silicone in the heated oil phase, you could do that too. From a hair care point of view, you may wish to intentionally choose oils that soak into the hair to soften it and add water repellency, oils that coat it for shine and gloss, or a blend. I've linked to a really helpful post from the Sciencey Hair blog that's all about this in the partner blog post. For this batch, I am using some of Baraka's coconut oil, which was a gift, as coconut oil can penetrate the hair, softening it and boosting water repellency. Our second new ingredient is 0.5% of a fragrance or essential oil of choice. I've used coconut lime verbena, which I purchased from Windy Point, but you could really use anything that strikes your fancy as long as it is allowed for usage at 0.5% in rinse-off formulations, which is IFRA Category 9. Begin by weighing 4 grams of BTMS 25 and 8 grams of oils of your choice into a heat-resistant glass measuring cup or beaker. Once the BTMS 25 has melted, weigh 87 grams of that nice hot water that we've been keeping steaming into that third beaker, and then pour the water into the melted oil phase. You'll notice that this formulation contains less water than the first one, and that's because you reduce the water to make room for the oil and the fragrance. Using your immersion blender, blend for 30 to 45 seconds before switching to hand stirring. Conditioners 2 and 3 will thicken more slowly than conditioner 1, but when all is said and done, they will be thicker than conditioner number 1. Once the emulsion has cooled down, weigh in 0.5 gram of each liquid Germall Plus and your fragrance, stir, and you are done. As with the last one, package it in something shower friendly, and voila! 2 conditioners. How do you use these conditioners? I designed these conditioners to be rinse out conditioners, but they're very versatile. Depending on your hair type, you could absolutely use them as leave-in hair conditioners. The first one actually works really well as a leave-in conditioner for my hair, which is pretty easily weighed down. Formulations 2 and 3 also make great hand and body lotions. I don't think any of these formulations would make particularly great hair masks unless you have very, very fine hair, but try it and see what you think. And now it's time for our third and final hair conditioner. In this third formulation, we are incorporating some hair care goodies. Panthenol, also known as vitamin B5, helps boost shine and moisturize the hair. Powdered panthenol can go in the heated water phase, but I've put it in the cool down phase for this formulation just to keep the making process the same for all 3 of these formulations. A hydrolyzed protein of choice can help protect, moisturize, and volumize. Learn more about different hydrolyzed proteins like rice, baobab, quinoa, and oat, and what they can bring to your hair care formulations over in the Humblebee and Me encyclopedia. If you don't have a hydrolyzed protein, you could use a humectant like vegetable glycerin or propanediol 1,3 instead. For this formulation, I've chosen hydrolyzed rice protein for its hair volumizing benefits. Begin by weighing 4 grams of BTMS 25 and 8 grams of oil of choice into your heat-resistant glass measuring cup or beaker. I'm using jojoba oil for this formulation, which won't penetrate the hair much, if at all, but it will help boost shine and improve comb through. Once the BTMS 25 has melted, weigh 84.5 grams of that nearly boiling hot water into your third beaker, and then pour that into the oil phase. Use your immersion blender to blend for 30 to 45 seconds before switching to hand stirring. Once the emulsion has cooled down, weigh in half a gram of liquid Germall Plus, half a gram of fragrance. I'm using Bombshell from Yellowbee, which is a Victoria's Secret dupe fragrance and was a gift. Half a gram of panthenol, also known as vitamin B5, and 2 grams hydrolyzed protein of choice. Stir in your cool down phase, package it up, and you are done. Voila! You just made 3 different hair conditioners. I encourage you to experiment with varying concentrations of BTMS 25, different oils and butters in the oil phase, different hydrolyzed proteins, different good for hair goodies. There are heaps of them out there. Get to know what your hair likes so you can make absolutely perfect for you hair conditioner. If you'd like to learn more about how spreadsheets can level up your formulating, click here. And if you'd like to learn more about the cetyl alcohol that forms 75% of BTMS 25, click here. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye.